before the first balloon rises into the sky, before tourists step onto hotel terraces, before cameras begin searching for the perfect photograph. There is a brief moment when Cappadocia belongs only to the wind. The valleys are silent. The stone towers stand motionless beneath the fading stars. Ancient caves disappear into darkness, and somewhere beneath the earth, hidden chambers and forgotten tunnels wait exactly where they have waited for centuries. At first glance, Cappadocia doesn't seem real. The landscape looks more like a movie set than a place where people actually live. Stone pillars rise from the ground like giant sculptures. Entire villages appear carved directly into cliffs. Valleys twist through formations so unusual they seem almost impossible. And every morning, as the sun rises over central Turkey, hundreds of hot air balloons drift silently across the sky, creating one of the most recognizable scenes in the world. But the balloons are not the real story. The real story begins millions of years before the first balloon ever took flight. Long before tourists arrived, long before empires crossed Anatolia, long before the first human ever looked across these valleys, because Cappadocia was born from catastrophe. Millions of years ago, enormous volcanoes dominated this region. Mount Erciyes, Mount Hassan, and several other volcanic giants repeatedly erupted across central Anatolia. Each eruption covered the landscape with vast quantities of ash and lava. Layer after layer accumulated over time. Eventually, the volcanic ash hardened into a soft rock known as tuff. At first, it seemed like nothing remarkable, just another layer of stone. But nature wasn't finished. Rain began carving channels into the landscape. Wind swept across the plateau. Winter ice expanded inside tiny cracks. Summer heat weakened exposed surfaces, and over millions of years, erosion slowly sculpted the region into something extraordinary. The result was unlike anything else on Earth. Towering stone columns emerged from the ground. Deep valleys formed between ridges. Cliffs developed strange shapes that inspired legends and myths. Today, these formations are known as fairy chimneys. Some rise more than 100 feet into the air. Others stand alone like giant sentinels guarding ancient valleys. Every one of them was shaped by time. No architect designed them. No civilization built them. Yet together they created one of the most remarkable landscapes on the planet. And eventually people arrived. The earliest inhabitants quickly discovered something unusual about the stone surrounding them. Unlike granite or other hard rock, volcanic tuff could be carved. Not easily. But with enough patience, entire rooms could be excavated directly into the cliffs. What began as simple shelters gradually evolved into something much more ambitious. Families carved homes into hillsides. Storage chambers appeared beneath villages. Entire communities began shaping the landscape itself. Instead of building on the land, people built within it. The mountains became walls, the cliffs became neighborhoods, the valleys became homes. Even today, walking through Cappadocia can feel disorienting. A doorway appears where a solid cliff should be. A staircase disappears into stone. A window overlooks a valley from what was once part of a mountain. The line between nature and architecture begins to disappear. Everything feels connected. Because in Cappadocia, the landscape itself became civilization. Yet the most astonishing structures were not visible from the surface. They existed underground, hidden beneath the valleys, hidden beneath the villages, hidden beneath the very ground people walked across every day. For centuries, nobody outside the region understood the true scale of what lay below. Then came one of the most extraordinary discoveries in human history. Beneath Cappadocia lies an entire world. The most famous of these underground settlements is Derinkuyu. From the surface, there is little indication of what exists below, but once inside, the scale becomes difficult to comprehend. Tunnel after tunnel descends into the earth. Rooms branch into other rooms. Passageways connect hidden chambers. Ventilation shafts stretch toward the surface. The deeper you travel, the more remarkable it becomes. Historians believe thousands of people could shelter here at the same time. Families, children, religious communities, livestock, entire populations. This wasn't a bunker. It wasn't a cave. It was a functioning underground city. There were kitchens, storage rooms, living quarters, wine production areas, places of worship, fresh water systems, everything necessary for survival. Massive circular stone doors could seal entrances from invaders. Narrow corridors made defense easier. The city itself became protection, and Derinkuyu was not alone. Dozens of underground settlements have been discovered throughout Cappadocia. Some remain only partially explored. Others continue revealing new tunnels and chambers even today. Together they represent one of humanity's most extraordinary examples of adaptation. People didn't merely survive here, they transformed the Earth itself into shelter. As centuries passed, Cappadocia gained new importance. Its remote valleys became places of refuge. Its caves offered protection. Its hidden settlements provided safety during uncertain times. When Christianity spread across the region, Cappadocia became one of its most significant centres. Churches were carved directly into cliffs. Monasteries emerged from rock formations. Entire religious communities established themselves within the valleys. Today, many of these churches still survive. Some contain frescoes more than 1,000 years old. Inside, faded images of saints and biblical scenes continue watching over silent chambers. The most famous collection can be found within the Goreme open-air museum. From a distance, the site appears peaceful. Just another cluster of stone formations rising from the landscape. But inside those cliffs lies an entire world of early Christian history. Monks lived here, prayed here, worked here, and left behind a record carved directly into the earth. Standing inside these spaces creates a strange feeling. The modern world fades away. The silence becomes noticeable, and for a brief moment it becomes possible to imagine what life felt like centuries ago. Outside, the valleys remain unchanged. The same stone formations, the same winds, the same horizon. History doesn't feel distant here, it feels present. But Cappadocia is not simply a place of history. It is also a place of extraordinary beauty. Each valley possesses its own character, its own atmosphere, its own personality. Rose Valley glows with pink and golden colours during sunset. Red Valley transforms into a landscape of fire-coloured stone as evening light spreads across the cliffs. Love Valley contains some of the most recognisable formations in the region. Pigeon Valley tells a different story entirely. For centuries, local people carved thousands of nesting chambers into cliff faces for pigeons. The birds provided valuable fertiliser for agriculture. Even the smallest details reveal how closely human life became connected to the landscape. Nothing was wasted. Everything had purpose. Every valley tells a story. Every path reveals another chapter. And yet, despite its incredible history, most visitors arrive for a very different reason. The sunrise. Long before dawn, activity begins across Cappadocia. Balloon crews prepare equipment. Large envelopes are spread across the ground. Burners ignite. Sudden bursts of flame illuminate the darkness. Then slowly, one by one, the balloons begin to rise. As sunlight reaches the horizon, the sky fills with colour. Red, yellow, blue, orange. Hundreds of balloons drift above the valleys. Below them lies a world shaped by millions of years of geology and thousands of years of human history. It is easy to understand why the experience became famous. Yet what makes it truly remarkable is not the balloons themselves, it is the setting. Few places on Earth offer such a dramatic combination of natural beauty and human history. The balloons float above ancient churches, underground cities, forgotten pathways, cave homes, volcanic towers, entire civilizations. The view is beautiful. But the story beneath it is even more extraordinary. Today, millions of visitors travel to Cappadocia every year. Many stay in cave hotels carved into ancient stone. Others hike through valleys that once sheltered hidden communities. Some descend into underground cities. Others simply watch the sunrise. Yet despite its popularity, Cappadocia retains a sense of mystery. Perhaps it is the landscape, perhaps it is the history, or perhaps it is the feeling that there is always another story hidden just beyond the next ridge. Because Cappadocia reminds us of something easy to forget. Human beings have always adapted, always created, always found ways to survive in places that seem impossible. This landscape was born from volcanic destruction. Yet it became home, it became refuge, it became civilization, and today it stands as one of the most extraordinary examples of how deeply human history can become intertwined with the natural world. As evening returns to the valleys, the crowds begin to disappear. The balloons land, the viewpoints empty, shadows stretch across the stone towers, and slowly Cappadocia grows quiet once again. The underground cities remain, the hidden churches remain, The ancient caves remain, waiting beneath the surface exactly where they have waited for centuries. Most travellers come here searching for a view, but the real wonder of Cappadocia is not what rises into the sky. It is what remains hidden beneath the earth, a reminder that some of the world's most extraordinary places are not defined by what we see first, but by the stories we uncover when we look deeper. The balloons will land, the crowds will leave, and night will once again settle across the valleys of Cappadocia. But long after the last visitor is gone, the stone cities remain, the hidden churches remain, the underground worlds remain, waiting quietly beneath the landscape, just as they have for centuries. I'm your narrator from the Untold Opus. Subscribe, because every week we uncover another hidden place, forgotten story, or extraordinary corner of the world most people never see. And trust me, some of the most unbelievable journeys are still ahead.